This is Justin AMZN on Monday, August 13th, 2018. We got a rally to start off the morning, our pre-market. Rallied up past the breakdown point of this triangle. Kind of paused a little bit, then continued on, pulled back, and just was on its way. And the open is looking like it's going to actually clear yesterday's high. Yesterday being a bearish candle, this would make it a bullish gap and go, and it could just run. And so we'll look at we'll start into the day, take a look at what happens. The very first candle is bullish, a little bit of a lower wick, decent lower wick, but this is actually a really nice sized candle. This kind of candle from yesterday or Friday's open would have been kind of hard to trade bullish because you would have had a really wide entry to stop. But this one this morning, much more manageable. This is around, let's see, the high down to the low. You could set that up with, was that $6? $6 of risk. So it's just more manageable to be able to do. And if you look at the 1 minute, which now we're just mainly looking at the 5 minute, but the 1 minute on this just went sideways quite a bit, which would have been a great place to, again, just have an entry above and a stop below based on that kind of a pause, for it to just wait for something to happen. And then it actually broke out. And it broke out very nicely. So you're already up quite a bit. It just pauses again, then continues up, and this thing is racing higher. So the place to get in was that opening candle. Looking at a shorter time frame, knowing that we're pretty much clearing yesterday's high. Except for this wick, for where we actually opened, didn't quite clear that wick, but it definitely cleared the open. Was above most of the candle on the daily, and anybody who shorted in here yesterday was losing money today. So for anybody who didn't close out a bearish position, they were trapped. They were buying. They were buying to close. People who were wanting to get in because it was moving higher were getting in. And comes way up here, throws in some upper wicks like this, some signals that, okay, maybe that's enough of a rally for this day. Obviously, if you ignore this flag that there's this message that the high is 1925, then you might think, okay, this could reverse, or maybe it does a double top or something. Maybe it does actually push a little higher. Well, it doesn't. That was actually the high, 1925. Nice round number actually to have a new all-time high. So we got four bearish candles in a row, just going sideways. Here's your double top. There you go. There's a double top forming here. Actually gets below the neckline, retests within the same candle, and this is where you could be playing this bearish, coming back down with that kind of a pattern, that kind of rally, because it does actually just continue down quite a bit. Now after that candle, I know people were thinking, hey, that just retested the same price range down here that we opened. Maybe we're going to rally it back up. Maybe we'll get there. Maybe, maybe this, maybe that, hoping it'll happen. The place to get in was actually down here in this same range. If you waited to see that candle, then you missed it, because it actually didn't go too much higher. It came back down, up, down, and this just chopped around. And then it threw this lower wick, actually making a new low in the afternoon. And I'm sorry, this was a higher low from here. This is a lower low from here. Still higher than the one this morning, the lower one this morning, but just suggests that, okay, there could be a little more selling come in. So you get these two candles right in a row that you want to see continue bullish. You're right at the 21 exponential on its way back down. It's a little bit of resistance. Got the squeeze going on, and just this lower highs. And if you ignore that wick, you've kind of got this. Either a flat bottom or a slightly up angle, and it really starts to look like the first 4 hours of yesterday, or of Friday, in here, in a little bit of compressed time frame. But the squeeze is forming. It came down quite a bit from a double top. So double top was Thursday, came down, came into this double top today, came down, came into this. It really looks like it's repeating what happened last week. And now we're starting to have this breakdown. This is a lot of bearish candles in a row that are actually moving a little bit lower, taking out that low. Here's a retest of that level. And we'll see if we come back up. Nope, came back down. That was the breakdown. So this would have been a little bit harder to play. I mean, this one's sideways for a good half hour. You knew the breakdown was coming. This one, it did actually go sideways in here, about half an hour, and then broke down. But when this one broke down, it pretty quickly cleared some lows that you could have still gotten in on. This one took a little bit longer to get down to these lows. The range on this was still much wider than this one in here. So anyway, this was the way to play this for a breakdown right in here, that consolidation. But I hope you're seeing the repeat of what happened. Let me zoom back out onto it. So what I'm saying is from this, basically from there to there, the double top into a triangle. Oops. I'm just highlighting. I can't let go of the cursor. It'll jump. That double top into a triangle and then subsequent breakdown into the support looks really similar to the double top. Sorry, about right here. Oh, no, that's not what I'm doing. Just trying to show you. Okay, double top into triangle, and then a breakdown into support. We've got a double top, breakdown, triangle into a new low, which is essentially what did happen. We moved a little bit lower than the triangle, moved a little bit lower than the triangle, and then kind of bounced a little better on Friday than we bounced today. But basically the same pattern. That exact pattern, double top, breakdown into a triangle, and then another breakdown after a triangle. I'm seeing the same thing here. So even the squeeze fired bearish, just like this one did. A little bit late, but same here. This one a little bit late. Would have just had been would have had to just been trading the candles instead of signals like that. So if we take a look over at the calls, now you could have been buying aggressively, maybe 850 by 750. Probably wouldn't have been that tight unless you were really on the 1 minute and really trying to snag something. That would have rallied. That would have been more than double in the option price. If you got in at 850, could have ridden it up to probably 1750. Maybe a little less. So that's 9R to do that. The double top lost some value in here. And what's really interesting is it came back right into the 850 price. Somebody could have been buying 850 by 750 again and flipped it out at 1050, came back down, had the trade set up, got in again on this candle for 850, and then flipped it out at 1050 and just gone, 9R here, 2R here, 2R here, and then it wouldn't have worked anymore. So if we go look at the puts, you can see where the double bottom, the double top in the stock was in here, and then the puts totally reversed here and rallied. And if you didn't get on that initial rally, the pullback here, maybe you didn't get in here, but as this just kind of went sideways, relative highs, relative lows, and actually basically higher lows, you probably could have set up something either here or here to get in at like 14 by 13, or here, 1350 by 1250, something like that. That worked close. Just the fact that it was moving, making some higher highs going on a triangle. Maybe you got this one, maybe you got this one. This was the better one because it consolidated better, just like it did on Friday. And actually, we'll look at, there's your consolidation from Friday, and there's the breakdown on the stock that actually was a rally here. So much harder to see on the 1900 put expiring this week to see how this really lost value. We've had to be looking at Friday's expiration, and actually I guess we could go look at Friday's expiration and see how that formed a better triangle. Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. This consolidation, lower highs, relative lows, and then a rally. And the option, which was a breakdown in the stock. And so if we come back to this week, look at the puts, you can see relative highs, relative lows, actually higher lows, like I said, I guess from here, lower highs, higher lows, consolidation, rally. And it definitely didn't move as aggressively because it's an expiration. We are 4 days away from expiration. And so breakout, retest, breakout again. So I'm seeing on the bearishness, on the bullishness, yeah, you just lost value going through here. And would have had to recognize that triangle looks similar to this triangle to know, hey, I'm going to wait and play this a little differently. You know, in this case, there was a high, lower high, lower high, lower high, breakdown. There was a high, lower high, lower high, lower high, breakdown. So even the spikes up were similar range. This one was, the first one here is taller, just like that one. Then these three are relative to each other. 1, 2, 3 are relative to each other. A little bit lower lows or lower highs. And then the bottom side didn't match up as well. But anyway, I'm noticing it just because it looks fractal to me that things repeat at different time periods, different levels, all that. And I'm seeing that in the options. I'm seeing that here on the chart. And hope this is something that you're recognizing and you're leveraging as you are trading AMZN. I think that was all I want to go over. Let's see the daily. So instead of having two flag candles, we actually made an all-time high. This looks pretty bearish. I'm trying to think the last time I saw a candle, it looked like that. At an all-time high, it was probably right there. Yep, just like that. There was a bullish retest gap, gapped up, came back down, bullish gap and go here, that failed. I mean, it may have worked initially in the day, but then failed. And this just ended up going sideways and slight pullback on a shorter time frame. And that was right ahead of earnings. So that was, yeah, oops, zoom a little differently. Okay, so we had a nice rally, a pause, rally, and earnings. So, I mean, we've had lots of pauses. We already had earnings. I'm just seeing that candle on all-time high. I'm seeing similarities. So it's possible we make yet another all-time high in the next few days because Amazon's been doing that. We're only 3 days into the squeeze, which they're supposed to last 8 to 10. But you know, we've been going a little bit higher in here, and I don't have stochastics or anything out, but my guess is there's some kind of divergence here saying this is due for a pause, not reverse. This is just due to pause. With these higher highs, there's a little bit of rest here, so it could be off base. Not looking at it, just guessing. Maybe if you incorporate this too, you know, you got these higher highs. Now you got a lower slope for higher highs. You know, this was a shallower slope. This one turned up a little bit. This turned up a little more. This turned up about the same. Now we're going a little shallower. So just look at that on a bigger picture, see what's going on. And then, yeah, with that squeeze fire, I'm just looking at previous squeezes. They've been working pretty well. So hopefully this one does too, and just catapults things higher. So look for places to buy in on a pullback into support. So we got plenty of support down below us, not a lot up here. But you know, the ranges on this and the patterns are very, very interesting. So we'll have to continue to look back and see what else we can find that will suggest where we're going next. For where we're going next, if we do this pattern, because we did this pattern today in a shorter time frame, it's very possible that we could do it again tomorrow and actually gap up in this range, 19 teams, and then rally up and then pull back later. Could totally happen. If we gap much higher, like above 1925 for some reason, you just trapped a whole lot of bears in these two candles. Not a ton more than usual because, you know, this is somewhat average buying. But it looks like there's people expecting this to double top and pull back down. Things like this where we actually made a higher high a couple of days in a row and then kind of reversed. That might be what people are thinking. Might be. And so if you want to trap all those people thinking that way and they're loading up bearish, then it could easily continue higher. So my gut kind of says that there's some folks who think this is the top, and it shouldn't continue higher. It's not yet, and so they're playing it that way. It's possible that they're right, or it's possible they'll be trapped. Guess we will have to see. So coming back for another video, and I hope you enjoyed this one. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.